Hello everyone, Modified 666 here, and welcome to a video. We're doing something a little bit different today. So, I've been having some difficulties with one of my audio devices, getting the quality of sound going to the stream while racing. I've got a new cable ordered that'll hopefully fix it up. So, I went on Tuesday, first week of the of the round for VRS, and it was Oulton Park. So I was like, I'm just going to go get my participation. I want to keep the VRS series going and that. So I jumped into the Audi at Oulton Park and was just like, I'm just going to do a race, just get my participation, have a bit of fun, see what it's like. I'm not super duper fast at Oulton Park, but it's going to be a bit of fun. So anyway, I jumped into the car, had a crack at doing the race, and ended up having a pretty unique experience racing against some pretty big names. One in particular that I'm sure you will even know about. So hopefully you enjoy. Let's have check it out, and let's get it playing. All right, so here we are on the formation. We're just getting kicked off and starting out of P15. I'm hoping all the overlays are going to display correct data. It's obviously looking at a replay in terms of inputs and everything along those lines. So it'll be interesting to see what it shows off and how it all looks. But anyway, so we're rolling up here, coming around Druids for the first time, just getting ourselves in position, ready for the start of the race. Always a little hesitant at the start of these sort of things because very, very quickly things can go wrong. You can see one of my teammates there, 2 cars in front of me on the left-hand lane in the McLaren. That's Stephen Bartholomew. So we almost have a close call on the first turn. But anyway, let's get ready for the start, rolling around. Just dragging the brakes a little bit, trying to warm up the tyres if I can, getting ready to go. I don't want to be too close to the back of the car in front of me, and I don't want to give the chance for the car behind me to jump me. So reasonable start, got Stephen just on the outside coming into turn 1. Got it on the inside of him, he toned in on me just a little bit. There was a slight 4X there, I believe, but no harm done, so we both survived the corner. Lifting off early, coming down into this long left-hander. It's quite an easy corner here, so one of the toughest parts about this track is just how easy it is to get the off-tracks. So anyway, got through there quite cleanly. And then first time through the hairpin, it was actually a fairly stable, clean start. There wasn't any major incidents. Everyone seemed to be pretty well behaved. Coming up to the first chicane here, a little late on the brakes, but managed to pull it up just a touch. Had a slight lock up there, so had to get pretty heavy on the brakes not to touch the Dominic in front of me. Correction, Jamie in front of me. So going in here, and just a standard sort of opening lap. We got Dominic going behind us and Jamie directly in front of us with Stephen Bartholomew there. So there's a couple of big names in this race that will sort of stick out. Bo Albert is one of them. So Bo made a mistake in his qualifying lap. I'm not exactly sure what he did, but he ended up starting at the back of the pack with no qualifying time. So he will come through the field at some point soon. Anyway, we're just first lap down and dusted. This place comes at you thick and fast, so we end up doing quite a few laps overall in the course of the race. I think it's 24, 25 laps, and we had our fair share of moments during them. So we, at the end of the day, it was still a pretty decent result, and I'm happy with the race. But anyway, so Jamie's just pulling away from me a little bit, and I've got Dominic right behind me. I did find out later that Dominic is a real-life driver, I believe. And big contact there on the right-hand side. Can't remember who that was, but it was someone from the Oceanic community. I remember that. So big impact for them. They ended up not finishing the race, I believe. Anyway, keep pushing on. So Freebie moving up, currently sitting in P11 after starting 13. So up a couple of spots and. Just trying to be careful and not get too many incidents and focusing on just trying to get a clean race, which is the complete opposite of what ended up happening. So keep pushing along. Got a nice big cup of tea here to keep me keep me plodding along for this 40-minute race replay. So we're in that sort of little bit of a phase now where Jamie's just a little bit faster than me in front, and Dominic's just falling back a little bit behind. So just plodding along. The Audi is I was surprised at how much grip the Audi had. It's the first time I've actually raced the Audi. I tried driving the Lambo to start with, and the Lambo felt pretty decent. That would have been an off track with that little section of the track there. It's very easy to get one there, and also right here. You go just wide there, touch that AstroTurf, and you get off track. Anyway, driving the Audi. First time driving the Audi. I was amazed at how much grip the Audi had. It's easy to see why it's such a popular car. It does have a little bit of a snappy sort of tendency to it sometimes, but you can hang on to it. It feels good. So pretty decent battle. Even Stevens in front and behind to Jamie and Dominic at the moment, and Stephen in ninth place is sneaking away just a little bit, keeping pressure on Dan Carpenter, which was good. So at this point, just again trying to keep it focused, keep logging laps. I know I'm not going to be setting the world on fire in terms of lap times. I wasn't that fast. I was ended up racing a little bit above where I was expecting to finish, so which was pretty decent. So anyway, coming to finish laps 3 already. This place just goes by so quickly. You don't think about it. So there's a spin there from I think that was Dan Carpenter. Dan Carpenter had a spin coming out of the final turn there. Not sure if there was a bit of contact with another car or not, but that was a free position. That was definitely an off track there. So that was one of the hardest parts, is you turn in the car and the back just doesn't want to stay, so you have to catch it, and then by catching the car you end up going wide and getting it off track. So ended up losing safety rating in this race, but not too worried about that personally. So going through that left-hander there was quite difficult to manage, and second gear through here. So Dominic is still all over my rear bumper, staring at that ugly front end of that BMW. I love BMW, but that BMW M4 front nose is just horrible. So lap 4 of 25 so far, already 9 minutes into the race. Plodding along, we can already see Bo Albert is a car behind me now. He's just come from behind. And he's just one of those drivers that can just absolutely nail it. So looking at the positions on the left, actually the finishing positions, so they won't give us much in terms of race positions of where we're up to, but they give you positions of the finishing positions. No idea. So Bo's coming up behind me. I'm sort of conscious that he's definitely not going to be hanging around, and we'll be trying to get past quickly. So coming up here, I'm like, I'll let him get a little bit closer before I try and make a move and go wide for him. So coming up here, I'm pretty sure it's this turn, I think it is. I get a little bit deep and I just don't quite hold the nose in, and he's able to get right up beside me. You can hear that other Audi right next to us now, so he's on the left, very, very close, and I just lift off there and let him scoot on by. Like, there's no point trying to battle Bo. He's well above my league, so let him go and try and chase down the leaders of where he needs to be racing. That did cost me a little bit of time to Jamie, which sort of broke that battle pack up a bit, but I was still sort of gapping Dominic just a tiny bit, goes in around that 1 second mark for quite a long time, personally. So 10 minutes down, 30 minutes left to go, and you'll see now, if you look at the relative at the bottom, car number 10, that is Fernando Alonso. I didn't actually realize Fernando was in the race until a couple of laps later. I think it was when he was an additional 2 behind me. I looked at who was behind. I'm like, that's Fernando Alonso. Oh my God. So I was like a bit surprised there. Yeah, okay, now we're just going to keep pushing and see what we got. Currently riding around in, I think, about in the top 10-ish range. So it's hard to know exactly what position I was in at this point, but I'll just keep pushing, and you can see Jamie has managed to skedaddle away and has a bit of contact with Bo. Bo's sort of coming back on the track, has a big moment. I decide to lift off and leave it be. I'm just going to exit out of Steam so that I stop getting notifications from that. Whoopsies! Alright, so keep pushing along. Now I've got Bo right in front of me again, who's dispatched Jamie, but moment there, just going into the thing, he's locked up the fronts a bit too heavy in the brake, late on the brakes, sorry, a bit late on the brakes, and just sort of lost a couple of positions there. So Dominic was able to get past. Dan was able to get back past. He was the one that had that half spin early in the race, and then I realised who was in front of me. I'm like, oh, look at that. That's Fernando Alonso. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see what we got. So I just sort of wanted to keep my head in the game, and Andrea behind me was really quite close. I managed to just hold him behind me with having that moment through the chicane. So pushing on, and Fernando decides to go for the early pit stop to get out of the battle. So I'm like, okay, fair enough, let you go. I'll just worry about the two guys in front of me. So I've got Dan and Dominic, another off track there for just good measure. So at this point, I'm sort of not too worried about fuel or that. I'm just going to keep pushing along, keep doing my laps and seeing where I sort of end up. Focus is try and pick up as many sort of people falling off the track and having mistakes as much as I can. I knew I was pretty out of my depth in terms of overall race pace and lap times. So I was just trying to drive smoothly, not give too many free passes, and hang on to it. So these chicanes, man, they were super duper terrifying. Fun once you attack them, but those tyre barriers on the inside, they are really, really not movable. You touch them and you bring your car very, very poorly. So going along, on lap 7, pushing on to lap 8 at the moment. Regularly into the, so my fastest was a 33.3. I think most laps around this time were in the 33s and 34s, mostly in the 34s, so not super duper fast. The guys up the front were pushing 31s and just constantly just banging those lap times out. Pretty incredible driving talent of them up there, so we weren't worried about catching those guys in front and just trying to stay in touch with Dominic and Dan. Hoping to maybe try and get a couple positions back. I think at this stage I'm probably around P13, P14 maybe. So just in that sort of midfield section. Again, focusing on my line. Track's starting to show some dirt, so here we go. Dan's making a move on Dominic. Beautiful move to get an overtake there by Dan. So Dominic has fallen back to position and come a bit closer to me. So now I'm like, okay, now what are we going to do with Dominic? And got caught out a little bit there by how quick, much he slowed down, and then Andre got a moment. So I've stayed right here just to ensure that I wasn't going to have a look, and then tried to focus on racing line. Once I had a pretty good idea that Andre didn't have the run going into that chicane there. So keep going along. I keep saying keep going along. It's probably because I have nothing to say at the time. But anyway, so I keep going along. First time I'm actually ever doing one of these sort of post-race commentaries on my driving, so it feels very unusual. Other than participating in the actual race, I don't remember the minute details, so I'm sort of reacting to things as they come along. Dominic's managed to sneak off a little bit, and Andre is right behind me. So at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm in about a lap or two. I'm thinking about a pit stop because I've got Andre behind me and Dominic in front of me. Dominic did scoot away a little bit during this lap because I started driving a little bit in the mirrors. So now it's sort of like trying to break that gap again and focus on getting up ahead and trying to find myself in position, look after my tyres, look after my car, and not locking brakes or anything along those lines. So I'm not getting into ABS too much. It's a big one, I should say. Surprisingly enjoyed the Audi though. For a car that I've never had a huge fondness to, I don't mind the look of the Audi, the real road car, but in terms of the race car, I don't like it. I don't know, it's just there's something about it. It's got that real bubble sort of feel to it. And the way that the back end of the car just has this big gaping hole, it looks like the car's half finished and falling apart. So I was surprised at how well it was actually driving, and probably something I might end up doing a few more races in as time goes on. So, big moment there from Andre. I think he ended up locking up a little bit, thought about having a look, and you can see a car, I think it was Jamie Dye, just ran into the pits. He obviously felt like he was getting held up by us. So, big moment through turn one. Getting loose there and trying to keep going, so I've gone, okay. I was like, okay, Seb, stop driving in the mirrors, mate. You're having a few moments that are costing you some time. Fun circuit, Oulton Park, but I tell you what, it's definitely eats up some safety rating being fast here. Very, very easy to get off tracks. Continuing to push along. Dominic hasn't quite, like, it looks like he's a fair way in front of me, but he's still within a second, so he's still within striking distance. So at this point, I'm a little bit concerned that Andres might make a mistake and at the back of me. Latency is always a big factor when you're racing as Australian, because you're either racing on US servers or European servers. It's very, very I can't remember the last time I actually got an official race with an Australian server. I just don't think it ever happens now. It used to happen if you had enough Australians, but the moment you got a American or European in your split, you just always defaulted to American servers. So being of 1 to 200 is pretty common in these sort of things. So pulling back in on Dominic again, and now I'm like thinking, okay, I've gapped Andre again, I've got that little bit of breathing space, I've brought my tyres back in line, so now we're going to see what we can do about trying to put some pressure on Dominic, or we're going to think about a change in strategy. That corner there was very, very, very fun, but very, very sketchy. It's a slight lift, a little downshift, and then just try and commit and hold it on for dear life. So it's yeah, it's actually a fair bit of this track. It's you don't get many chances to relax around here, to have to think about your line and what you're doing. So now that I'm like pulling right up on the back of Dominic, I'm thinking, okay, let's contemplate a pit stop. So I think it might be this lap or maybe the next one. I'm not sure if I go one extra lap with the Dominic so close in front of me and think, oh, I might be able to get him on track. But I'm pretty sure I pull in fairly soon. So I know it's either this lap or the next one. I'm pretty sure it's the next one I end up hitting. So I'm contemplating whether I've got my fuel set up. I make sure I always turn my tyres off at the start of the race. No, here we go. So straight into the pits. Cautious of not getting a speeding penalty, and then straight in. Oh, boom, there's my guy. Wonderful. Get over, right on the line. Stop on the mark. Beautiful. Okay. Watching my fuel go in, watching my fuel go in, watching my fuel go in. All right, get ready, get ready. I think I'm a little late getting on the accelerator here. Yep. So normally I try and rev up before the fuel ends. I've got a bit of revs in the engine, but that was right. It was a reasonable pit stop. I'm pretty happy with that overall. So coming out of the lane though, look who is in front of me. I got one Jamie Dyke, and not far up the road is one Fernando Alonso. So Jamie was one of the ones that snuck into the pits early. So I was a little disappointed to see myself come out behind him. But I knew Jamie was fairly fast, so he was gapping me a little bit at the start of the race. So I wasn't too concerned about it. I was sort of figured, oh well, that's all right. We'll see if we can't stick to the back of Jamie and follow him along. Jamie is part of Fishy Motorsport, which is part of the Oceanic community. So another Australian team out there racing, and they do some good stuff out there. So good to see Jamie doing well. Anyway, pushing along. Shane Wallace, you can see in the red 51, he was banging out some insane lap times over and over and over again. Every time crew chief came on and said, "You fastest lap for Wallace," it's just like, oh god, okay. Excuse me. So coming out of the pits, you've always had that moment where you're just a little apprehensive on your tyres. You've suddenly got a bit of extra weight on them, and they've just had a little bit of time just to cool down a degree or two while stationary in the pit stop, so you're always just a little bit hesitant on your outlap. I'm going to keep pushing on. We're about coming up to 50% race distance. So still plenty of racing to go. We are at the 22 minutes, so we're over half race distance now. I'm just questioning the race time. I'm hoping that is correct in the overlays. We'll find out anyway. Anyway, so just pushing along. Got no one behind me, no one in front of me. Well, I've got Jamie in front of me, but Jamie's sort of pulling away just a touch. So I'm just worried about trying to do consistent fast lap times to maybe try and jump Dominic in the pit stops and Andre, and make sure I try and stay in front of them in terms of pit strategy. Got down in first gear there. I think that was one of those moments where I realised coming into the corner I was a little too fast on entry. Jamie has a bit of a slide there too, so whets the appetite. Know that I've got a chance here to keep pushing, so keep the pressure on, keep pushing. But he's just a little too fast for me at this time, so it's no surprise that he starts to pull away a bit on me. And then on the last cars on the like actual lap, and I think there's only 3 cars that are pitted at this point. Fernando, myself, and Jamie are the 3 cars that are pitted. So in terms of pit strategy, I'm there or thereabouts. Just trying to keep pushing, not trying to get too many off tracks. I came fairly close to getting a drive-through penalty in this race in terms of off tracks. I mean, you look at this corner right here, and that potentially was an off track. That's how easy it is to get them. They are so easy to get at that corner. Actually, this place is probably worse than Spa. Oh, here we go. So this is an interesting moment. I have a slowdown and almost contact. So Fernando Alonso there, he went through the kink and just had a big old slide, and it's a bit of an unusual rejoin onto the track, so I had to back out of it quite a bit there just to not slam into the side of him. So at this point I'm poking up on his side going, is anyone watching me at the moment? Like, do you see what's going on? Like, holy shit, I'm a bit blown away by what I'm sort of encountering. First time racing someone of Fernando's caliber. I've always been a big Fernando Alonso fan. I'm excited to see him come back and join the F1 field this year in the Renault, so wishing him all the best in that car. But yeah, so now I'm like, okay, got Fernando behind me. His tyres are going to be a little hot for a little while, so he sort of falls back for a lap or two as he tries to cool him down after a big slide like that. Now we're starting to see other people take to the pit, so now I'm looking for those green names on the relative box, which which are moving me back up the order. So I want to see as many of them as I come past that start-finish line, and hopefully find some more positions as I keep pushing on. So at this point, I was in the low high 20s in terms of position, maybe 19s or something along those lines. So I'm just pushing on, trying to keep them going. Jamie has escaped a fair bit on me. Fernando has closed up on me a bit more. Now that he's sort of stabilised his tyres after that mistake. And then I have a nice little slide now that I'm like, oh, okay, here's Fernando back on my 6. All right, what's he going to do? He was really fast through here. This section I was just not very good at. So this lap is a little too far back to make him move, but this is a fairly decent overtaking position if you can get right there. He's right on my 6. He's tapping on my bumper, just saying, hey buddy, I'm here. Look out, I'm coming. So, and there is a certain element of intimidation when it comes to racing someone like Fernando, Mr. Alonso. So yeah, it's pretty fun. So anyway, I'm just trying to again focus on my lines, looking for that start-finish line, seeing if there's any in the pits. No on this lap, so just that's all right. Keep going, just try and keep pushing on. We're fairly early on in terms of pit strategy. Still a lot of people running out. The first half of the lap, I was actually pretty fast. So coming through the last corner in this first section was pretty decent at. And then from this chicane, this hairpin up here, and from there to Druids was where I was weakest. So I was pretty decent coming in here, but then I was really struggling just through this section. Trying to be gentle on the power and not get a big old snap like that. And then braking through these sections here, I just didn't feel confident in attacking it as that. And then this is where he was able to really come up and harass the back of me. So he's right on my tail, and he's up right beside me, and I'm like, oh, okay, side by side, okay, a little contact, that's all right. We both survived it. Pretty aggressive move, but something you'd expect from a driver of that standard, and a decent overtake at the end of the day. Like it was, I was impressed by it. So, okay, Fernando's gone in front of me, that's fine. Let's see if we can't follow him and maybe keep the pressure on him and maybe learn a thing or two in terms of race pace and race positioning and other things along those lines. So, okay, just follow along. And again, at this point, I was still fairly low in the orders. We haven't had many pit stops to put cars behind me. Yeah, so what are we? We're at lap 17. We've got about 5-6 laps to go. Sorry, I can't maths. So 17 of 25. What's that put us at about 7-8 laps? 8 laps to go. Don't expect me to count, guys. I don't do it. I work with money in the finance industry, but I can't count. It's just we don't do that. So now I'm sort of again worried about Shane Wallace. I'm like hoping he's going to pit soon, so that I don't have the leaders coming up and needing to overtake me for putting me a lap down. That's the last thing I wanted to do. So this track, I mean, I was big thing with this track is how much work is involved in racing around here. So I was absolutely sweating by the end of this race. Just having to be so conscious of what I'm doing on the wheel and letting the race come to me, and not trying to over push or anything along those lines. So, but at the same time, with the pressure that I was under and trying to push to keep up with Fernando. So here we go. We've got another couple of pit stops underway. Those two go straight behind me already, so that's another 2 positions up on where we were previously. And significantly down the track too, which is a good sign. It means I'm a little bit further up in running pace than I'm sort of expecting. Up ahead, you got Dominic and Jamie going side by side. Jamie's able to get a good move done on Dominic, so nice move done. Moves Jamie up a position, and Dominic was, I think, just came out of the pits actually. So I think Dominic was in that case if he's just pitted and now has, yeah, he did lap 17, so he just pitted, so his tyres weren't quite there. They were just coming back up to temperature after stopping for a little bit. So now it's a case of, all right, keep pushing on. And Dominic and Fernando right in front of us. Yeah, still not too bad. I reckon I was probably around the P13, 14 maybe at this point. Little slide there through Druids. That's such a hard corner to, you got to be somewhat aggressive with it, but you get it slightly overcooked, and it's a whole pile of sliding going on for you. It's one of the things with this track is there's so many ups and downs and changes in direction and on camber into off camber. Another position there through the pit stop, and we've got Andre behind us again. So Andre's just come out of the pit lane, which shows me that I've been able to hold my position in terms of him in race pace. I've just lost a little bit out to Dominic. So Dominic was able to gap me during my pit stop phase, but Andre sort of fell back behind me. So I was able to keep faster than Andrea, which I was pretty happy with, to see myself maintain that gap in front of me. But it also meant now that, okay, it's game on. We've both got the same level of fuel on. His tyres are going to be a little cool for a lap, half a lap, but then he's going to be bang on me again, and he's going to be pushing. So now we've got to focus, go. Fernando and Dominic up ahead are having a little battle. And yeah, so falling a little bit from the two in front of me. Still got Andrea right behind me. It's happened on the door, but we're definitely in the top 15 in terms of position. But again, overlays aren't showing live positioning; they're just showing live relative and overall finishing position. So no spoilers, but apparently I finished P11. Anyway, still continuing on. Another position in the pits there. Matt Morris has pitted and come out behind us. So I was surprised to see Matt struggling at this track. He's a reasonably fast steerer, Matt is. So to be a little bit in front of him was, I'm not sure if he had some incidents in the first section after the race, or had damage or something else. It's highly possible. In this corner, it's just so committed. I love it. So we'll be coming out the line. It will be 5 to go. We are on lap 20 at the moment. Now, something interesting is going to happen in a lap or two, which I'm still not quite 100% sure exactly what happened or why it happened, but we'll talk about it a bit more once we get a bit closer to it. So at this point, I'm starting to gap Andre, which means I'm like, okay, perfect, bites forward. Don't worry about the car behind me. We got a fair bit of gaps in front of me. So we want to try and see if we can't close them up a bit. And try and keep gapping Andre behind me. So pushing on. Dominic's holding Fernando up. Oh, big old slide through that final corner there. Had to get a whole pile of opposite lock and lift the accelerator. So that's one of the big things with the Audi is it's fast, but when it has those slides, you've got to be on the point to catch them, because it's not an easy car to catch when it has those slides. On lap 21 now. At the line will be 4 to go. And then here we go. Fernando has a moment. Another slide. Comes back on the track. I'm like, do I get underneath him? No. Okay, he's going to be parked right on the racing line. Alright, no good. Alright, so now let's go. I wasn't quite as close to him as I would like to after that, and I was just too worried about where he was going to go and what's altercations, and I didn't want to end up having a DNF because of contact, so backed right out of it to give him space to get back online. It sort of threw me, as you can see. I went into first gear there. Just takes you out of your rhythm for a moment, so it's like, oh crap, okay. Alright, don't worry about it. We survived it. No harm done. And then the next lap, there's a similar moment at that turn, but with a different driver. So, not many laps to go now. It's still just putting along. I'm driving probably at 9/10s, just worried about incident points. By this point, I'm like 13, 14 incidents. There's another position in the pits. So right now I'm sort of questioning, is a top 10 in order? Is this an opportunity to get, is there a few more positions available? What will that mean for my gains in terms of iRating and other things? So yeah, just going along, but at the same time, keep it on track, focus on track. And there you go, so there's Jamie. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Jamie there, but he's had himself a half spin, which has put me on offline going into the hairpin, but so, oh buddy, no good. So not sure if Jamie just dropped the grunt, feeling the dirt there, or if there's something else that happened, but unfortunate for him, he ended up losing a handful of positions, trying to get back going. I don't think he ended up with damage, he just lost a lot of time with that half spin. So now we're like, okay, now we've definitely got a potential chance at the top 10. Well, I think we're in P12 after Jamie's spin. You'll notice that there is someone missing from the top 15 in our position index. So coming up, I think we're good to go at the line. Yeah, it's good to go at the line, so it's 3 to go. 23, 24, 25, yeah. So we're 3 to go now, so we're sort of getting light fuel, keeping on going. Fernando's sort of coming back at me a little bit, and I'm just sort of not really paying too much attention as to why he's sort of coming back to me, but I know that he's had a few moments. And then this is when it starts getting interesting. So I'm like, oh, okay, we're closer. Gonna keep pushing. Something hasn't been able to escape. We have managed to get the gap to Andre out behind us at 3.4, 3.5 time. So we're able to really just focus on the car in front of me, not the cars behind me. So we'll be coming to the line with 2 to go. And in a moment, I think it's Stewart's here. Something funny happens. So, no, it's not Stewart's. Other than me almost binning it into the grass there. Here we go. So suddenly he closes in on me. I'm like, okay, all right, so that's interesting. And then there must be, no, we didn't get the white flag this time. This is 2 to go. Sorry, this is 2 to go, yeah. So now I'm sort of catching up. And there's a half bubble here, and it's sort of closed in a bit more. Gaps now down to 0.5, 0.6. And then here, right now, I'm like, wow, oh, okay, what's going on? Why is suddenly Fernando really slow? Okay, this is interesting. Okay, yep. He's having moments there. He's slow into the corners. The gaps close right up. All right. That's, yeah. Means he's just, and then big lifted coast. I'm like, oh, okay. Fernando suddenly realised he doesn't have enough fuel. What I suspect is that he assumed the race was going to go a lap shorter than it actually did. So right now he's realised he's a bit short of fuel, so he's doing some lift and coast, which is going, okay, like, all right, now's my opportunity to try and get past him. So I get a bit of a half run here, and he does a big lift, and I have to get onto it pretty hard to make contact. I'm like, all right. And he just managed to carry so much more mid-corner than me there. I just was too worried about where he was going to go on the inside of me that I just made a big mistake on that corner. But right now, it's like, okay, now I'm like, okay, I've got to run. Into lifting and coasting. Oh, okay, easy done, easy done. Goes wide here. So I'm like, all right, here's my chance. I get a big run here. He immediately goes to the inside line. I'm like, okay, I'll go to the outside. No, I don't feel comfortable with that. Let's try for the hairpin. Get a run, get right on the inside, and he just braked way more than I was anticipating. Completely caught me by surprise, and I just lifted up his rear, and I was like, oh my, okay, I just motored Fernando Alonso. Alrighty then. Anyway, so I think we're on white flag. We're coming to white flag. I definitely know the timers in the overlays are all kinds of wrong because it's showing 42 minutes. So I'm guessing it's counting. It's not counting the original start of the race. And the lap counter is not counting those as well. So I think we end up with 26 or 27 laps. This might be coming to white flag now, I assume. So right now I'm just like going, fuck, I just killed Fernando, like feeling pretty bad, and that was not my intention. I just sort of got curled up behind him, was hoping that there might be a position open up on the inside where I could maybe sneak in or keep pressure on him, and yeah, he just slowed down more than I was expecting going into that corner. But we will have a post-race look more at that. So I believe we're on white flag right now. The race is showing the time as zeroed out, so the overlays are like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Big gap in front of me, big gap behind me. Going in P11, bringing it home, trying just to finish it out. Get myself a nice finishing position and see what's what. So I knew I was definitely losing safety rating on this race with just the sheer number of incident points I gained just from off tracks. I think I did get an 4X on the opening stint on turn 1. I'm not sure where that came from, but I definitely got a 4X in the first turn. But other than that, everything else, like I didn't get any contact from Fernando. I'm pretty knows this is 0x contact. And other than that, all the other 10 incidents were just me getting slowed off tracks at different points of the race. So coming up here, and there's the checkered flag. We're at the finish. Slowing down now, and now we're worried about going and checking out some of the incidents and seeing what the results are. Alright, so let's have another look at this incident with Fernando Alonso. So coming through this left-hander here, he goes very, very wide. So we try and get a run. We get a decent run, but he immediately realizes it and protects the inside line. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to go on the inside there. I just want to try and get in. Hindsight meant I probably could have gone to the outside of him there, but it's just, yeah, I was already fairly slow at that point where the contact was made. So let's have a look at it from the side on perspective at a bit of a slowdown. So there was just a tiny little, there was almost contact there, and then it was like he just slowed down a little bit more, and it was just enough there to unload the car, lift him up, and off she went. He got the wall, so You can see here the racing line is definitely way over to the right. In terms of where you normally expect the car to go. And definitely just closing in on him faster than I expected. If I'd had an opportunity to redo this, I would have tried to go to the other side of the car because I thought the gap was going to open up on the inside. But if the gap didn't open up, I wasn't intending to push him in there. It was just that sudden moment where he seemed to slow down more than I anticipated. So bit of contact, and off she goes. Straight through the gravel and boop into the tyre wall. So I did end up going ahead and sending Alonso a PM to apologise afterwards.